Alright, let's talk pigs. Not just any pigs, but your pigs. The ones you're thinking about investing in, the ones that could, if you play your cards right, turn a bit of mud and sweat into a respectable living. Now I've seen my share of folks jump into things head first, especially when they see dollar signs, or in this case, bacon. But pig farming, like any job worth doing, has its own set of rules, its own rhythm, and more than a few ways to get yourself into a mess if you're not careful. It's not just about slinging feed and hoping for the best. It's a science, an art, and a whole lot of hard work rolled into one. My name is DJ S. Jude, and while I might not be wrestling stuck pigs out of the muck today, I've learned a thing or two about what it takes to succeed in ventures that demand grit and common sense. This isn't some get-rich-quick scheme I'm peddling. This is about laying a solid foundation, understanding the nuts and bolts, and making smart decisions from day one. We're going to walk through this pig farming business step by step, from the initial head-scratching phase of research, all the way to seeing those healthy hogs head off to market, putting some well-earned cash back in your pocket. So, whether you're greener than a spring pasture or you've already got a few sows under your belt and you're looking to expand, stick around. We're gonna cut through the fluff and get down to the brass tacks of investing in pig farming the right way. It's about working smart, not just hard, though there'll be plenty of that too, believe me. Let's get started and break down what it really takes to make a go of it in the world of swine. Thinking about investing in pig farming? Whether you're a beginner or looking to scale, this video will guide you through how to invest the right way, step by step. Let's break it down. Before you even think about buying your first piglet or hammering a single nail for a pen, we need to talk about the part that most folks want to skip research. Skipping your homework here is like trying to build a house without a blueprint, on ground you haven't even tested. You might get something up, but chances are it's going to come tumbling down, probably when you least expect it, and likely taking your hard-earned cash with it. First things first, you've got to understand your local market. Who's buying pork around here? Are there local butchers crying out for quality meat, or restaurants that pride themselves on farm-to-table fare? Maybe there's a regional processor that's looking for consistent suppliers. You need to know the demand, the going rates, and who your competition might be. Don't just assume people will buy your pigs because you raise them. You've got to dig in, ask questions, and get a real feel for the economic landscape you're about to step into. Then there's the not-so-small matter of local regulations. Every county, every state, sometimes even every township, has its own set of rules. Do you need specific permits to raise livestock? What are the biosecurity laws you'll have to follow to prevent disease spread? And believe me, they take that seriously. And zoning restrictions? You can't just set up a pig farm anywhere you please. Finding out you're on the wrong side of a zoning law after you've invested is a costly, soul-crushing mistake. Alright, so you've done your homework, you've scouted the territory, and you haven't been scared off yet. Good, that means you're serious. Now we move from research to planning. And I mean a real, honest-to-goodness business plan. If you're looking to make money and not just have some new, noisy pets, then pig farming is a business. And like any business worth its salt, it needs a plan, a roadmap to tell you where you're going and how you're going to get there without driving into a ditch. Let's start with your startup budget. This isn't just the cost of the piglets. You need to account for everything. What about the materials for those pens we talked about? Feeders, waterers, maybe some basic veterinary supplies to have on hand. Are there initial permit fees? Don't forget transportation costs for getting those first animals to your place. Write it all down, every last anticipated penny. It's always better to overestimate slightly than to find yourself short when you're halfway through construction or your first feed order. So, you've got your research done, your business plan is taking shape, and now it's time for one of the more exciting decisions, choosing your pigs. This isn't like picking a puppy though. While a cute snout is nice, we're looking for genetics that will make you money. The breed or breeds you choose will have a massive impact on your farm's productivity, your feed efficiency, and ultimately, your bottom line. This decision needs to be driven by your goals. Are you aiming primarily for meat production, or are you thinking about breeding your own stock down the line? For most folks starting out and looking to produce pork for sale, you'll want breeds known for fast growth and good meat yield. The brief mentions some solid choices: large white, landrace, Duroc, and Hampshire. These are popular for a reason. Large whites and landraces are often praised for their mothering abilities and large litters if you do decide to breed, plus they produce good carcasses. Durocs are hardy, grow fast, and are known for meat quality. Hampshires are well-muscled and yield a lot of lean meat. Each has its strengths, and often, crossbreeds involving these are excellent choices too. Alright, you've picked your pigs, or at least the breeds you're aiming for. Now where are these critters going to live? A lot of folks, when they picture a piggery, imagine some elaborate state-of-the-art facility. And sure, those exist, but for starting out, you absolutely do not need to build the Taj Mahal of pig pens. The key here is to build smart, not expensive. Your pigs don't care about fancy architecture. They care about comfort, safety, and hygiene. Focus on providing a structure that meets their needs effectively and efficiently. The absolute must-haves for any pig housing are pretty straightforward. It needs to be clean, well-drained, and properly ventilated. Cleanliness is paramount for health, as we'll discuss more later. Good drainage is crucial because pigs, despite their love for a good wallow in the mud on a hot day, shouldn't be living constantly in muck and mire. That's a recipe for disease and discomfort. Proper ventilation is also vital. It helps control temperature, remove moisture, and reduce the buildup of ammonia and other harmful gases from manure, which can cause respiratory problems. The brief mentions separating pens by age groups, and this is a really smart management practice. We've touched on this before, but it bears repeating because it's just that important. Feeding your pigs will be, by a country mile, your biggest ongoing expense. We're talking up to 70%, sometimes even more, of your total production costs. So, if you're going to make any money in this game, you absolutely have to be strategic about what, when, and how you feed your animals. This isn't just about filling bellies. It's about efficiently converting feed into marketable pork. Get this wrong and you might as well be pouring your profits straight into the feed trough. The most straightforward option, especially for beginners, is often to use quality commercial feeds. These are specially formulated by animal nutritionists to provide a balanced diet for pigs at different stages of growth: starter, grower, finisher. The advantage here is convenience and consistency. You know the pigs are getting what they need. The downside can be the cost. When choosing a commercial feed, don't just go for the cheapest bag. Look at the nutrient analysis, the ingredients, and talk to other farmers about what brands have worked well for them. Quality here really does matter. Some folks, especially as they scale up or if they have access to cheaper raw ingredients, consider mixing their own feed. This can potentially save money, but it's a much more complex undertaking. Let's be blunt, a sick pig is a losing investment. It's as simple as that. When a pig gets sick, it stops eating well, it stops growing, it might need expensive medication, and in the worst case scenario, you could lose the animal entirely. And if one pig gets sick, especially with something contagious, it can quickly spread through your entire herd, turning your promising venture into a financial nightmare. That's why proactive health management and strict hygiene aren't just good ideas. They are absolutely fundamental to successful pig farming. An ounce of prevention here is truly worth a ton of bacon. Your first line of defense is to work closely with a good local veterinarian who has experience with swine. Don't just call them when you have a problem, establish a relationship from the start. They can help you develop a sound vaccination and deworming program tailored to your area and the specific health challenges common there. Regular vaccinations protect against common diseases, and routine deworming keeps internal parasites from robbing your pigs of nutrients and hindering their growth. This is an investment, not an expense, in the health and productivity of your herd. Next up is hygiene, hygiene, hygiene. I can't stress this enough. Alright, you've done the hard yards, the research, the planning, the building, the careful feeding, and the diligent health management. Your pigs are growing fat and happy. Now comes the part everyone looks forward to, turning those pigs into profit. But marketing your pigs isn't something you should only start thinking about when they're a week away from market weight. Smart operators start building connections and exploring sales channels long before that. You need to know where your pigs are going and for how much, well in advance. One common route is selling to meat processors or abattoirs. These larger operations can often take your entire batch of market-ready pigs at once, which is convenient. The key here is to establish relationships early. Find out what processors are in your region, what their requirements are, weight, grade, etc., and what kind of prices they're offering. Don't be afraid to talk to several and compare. Sometimes, selling in bulk might mean a slightly lower price per pig, but the convenience and guaranteed sale can be worth it, especially when you're starting out. Another option, which can sometimes yield higher profit margins per animal, is exploring direct-to-consumer sales or selling to smaller niche retailers like local butchers or restaurants. This could involve selling whole or half pigs directly to families, participating in farmers markets, or even setting up a small on-farm shop if regulations allow. So, there you have it, a look at what it really takes to get into pig farming and make a go of it. We've covered a lot of ground from the crucial early research and planning stages, right through to choosing your breeds, building smart, feeding wisely, keeping those animals healthy, and finally, getting them to market. It's not a walk in the park, that's for sure. There's mud, there's sweat, there are early mornings and late nights, and there are definitely days when you'll wonder why you ever thought this was a good idea. But for those who are willing to put in the effort, to learn the craft, and to manage their operation with a sharp pencil and a keen eye, pig farming can indeed be a rewarding venture. It's a way to connect with the land, to produce good food, and yes, to make an honest living. The key, as we've seen, isn't some secret trick. It's about doing the fundamentals consistently well. Start smart with a solid plan, manage your resources and your animals with diligence and care, and grow your business wisely, step by step. The journey from a few piglets to a thriving hog operation is built on these principles. It demands patience, perseverance, and a willingness to keep learning. There will be challenges, no doubt about it, but with the right approach, those challenges can be overcome. So take this information, digest it, and if you're still fired up about the prospect of raising pigs, then I wish you all the best. May your pigs be healthy, your market strong, and your profits reflect the hard work you put in. Pig farming can be a gold mine, but only if done right. Start smart, manage well, and grow wisely. Good luck!